So I guess this is my channel now, just uploading videos talking about people being banned because it keeps happening, and every time it happens, I get slightly more concerned because it's not letting up. It just so happens that other companies are starting to get in on this, and it's always different people. Like, the thing is, it's not just other companies, or I should say, it's not just companies that have already banned people continuing to ban people. It's not just other companies jumping in on banning these first few people. It's other companies banning other people as well. So, like, this thing is just growing bigger and bigger. And you would think that after all that happened with Alex Jones, like, gaining, according to him, 5.6 million, which it's probably not that much, but gaining a ton of new subscribers, the InfoWars app doing great, you figure this thing would, they would stop doing this because it seems to backfire. My guess is the reason that this is happening is because they know they can get away with it. And with the whole Alex Jones thing taking up all the news, you figure if that's happening, maybe they might be able to slip in a few lesser-known people, as they did with Scott Horton and Daniel McAdams, Peter Van Buren. I doubt anyone knew that those people were banned when they heard about Alex Jones because he took over the news. So I'm wondering if that's the reason they're banning these other people. And just recently, I'm told that Alex Jones received like a temporary suspension on Twitter, a very short one, just like a 12-hour, 24-hour, however that works. So it's a small thing, but still. But now Robert Spencer is up next, and I don't know too much about Robert Spencer, but I know he runs, as you can see from his Twitter handle, Jihad Watch. He's generally like an anti-Islamic extremist advocate. He's written a ton of books on Islamic extremism, and he's generally against like Islam in general. And now, if you're part of the far left, you might call him an Islamophobe. If you're a radical extremist, you might call him an Islamophobe. But generally, I don't think that's I think he's just someone that accurately writes about Islam and doesn't like it. But I have yet to read any of his books. I just read bits here and there, and I know he's linked. He seems to be linked in some way with David Horowitz, and I respect David Horowitz. But he's been axed from Patreon now, according to his own tweet. He says, "I've been axed from Patreon without explanation, warning, or notice. No doubt as part of the ongoing efforts of the left to deny all platforms to those who reject its agenda. To those who supported me there, thank you, and I'm sorry we couldn't follow through on plans." So his Patreon was disabled. Now, the thing is, I am of the opinion that I have nothing against people or platforms banning someone if they violate their terms of service. But as we've seen, they're just completely arbitrary. They're like, oh, we banned you. Why? Well, we're not going to tell you why. We're just going to ban you, and that is it, period. But Patreon actually gave a reason this time as to why they banned him. And it's right below, following up on this tweet. "Hi, Robert, we emailed you earlier today, which explained that unfortunately Mastercard required us to remove your account. You replied to us, but if you have further questions, we're happy to keep emailing." So yeah, the whole reason Patreon removed his account was because Mastercard required them to. Now, I'm not exactly sure how that works or why. If that's a valid excuse, it seems like a valid excuse because Patreon doesn't seem to ban very many people. I know they banned Lauren Southern, but honestly, they don't seem to be too happy to wield the ban hammer. But they did in this case, and they did it with Mastercard. And I've never heard Mastercard ban someone. And again, people are going to say this. Yes, I believe generally that if you're a private company, you have the right to ban someone. But this is a bad thing. That's the thing. You can't just respond with that because it's yes, we've already had that conversation. We've already talked about this. We already that is something that is automatically a given to most people. But what we're talking about here is something that is, they are using their powers, and they have a lot of power here to do something like this, and that is bad. Now, I will leave links in the description to other videos I've talked. I'm not going to go over again about what you can do to combat this, because I've already done videos on that, so I'll just link them in the description. But yeah, this is bad, because it just keeps happening with more and more people. So again, to summarize what I've said before, basically, again, I've already said this stuff, but move to alternative platforms. If you can, stop using the current plan, like Mastercard. Luckily, I don't ever use Mastercard. I use Visa, and Visa has yet to do anything that makes me want to stop using them. So yeah, Stefan Molyneux, I did a video on that about how he got 2 community strike violations on YouTube for mass flagging, or likely due to mass flagging. And then he asked a ton of people to respectfully email YouTube and say, why is this happening? This shouldn't happen. And he got restored. Like, his account was restored, the strikes were removed, and all was good. So this is something, actually, come to think of it, that I can add to this video that I haven't mentioned in other videos. Feel free to contact these people. Feel free to feel free to contact these companies and let them know that you're against this. However, because this is something I would never endorse people just emailing companies with hate mail. When you're emailing a company, when you're messaging a company, like, feel free to do that, but be polite, be respectful. Don't just text Mastercard or email Mastercard, however you can contact, and don't just tweet at Mastercard and saying, hey, you're absolutely awful and I hate you, because that does not accomplish anything. Because the thing is, I get tons of, like, I don't even have that many subscribers, and yet I have quite a few people that comment and basically have nothing of value to say except just to insult me. And it's like, okay, so I must have done something right, because the people that feel the need to comment with nothing but insults are mad at me. So it's like, that's a win in my book. So if you start tweeting at, like, Patreon and Mastercard and that, and saying you're an awful person, you're an awful company, and we hate you, that's just a win for them, honestly. Like, that's just how I would view it if I was in their shoes. So honestly, like, it seems that Mastercard is at fault here, and Patreon, that's all they're saying about it. So if you want, tweet at Mastercard, tweet it, or send an email to them, whatever. But be polite about it. Like, that's the thing. Be polite, because as we've seen with YouTube, they're willing to actually listen sometimes. But yeah, be polite, basically. Send a polite email. Get your friends to send a polite email. Tell your friends to get their friends to send polite emails. Spread it around. And the thing is, if you send enough polite emails saying you're mad, then, like, that might actually do something about it. And as far as we know, we don't know why Mastercard, at least at the time of me recording this video, I don't know why Mastercard just suddenly terminated his account and got Patreon to do it too. I don't even know how they can do that. But yeah, this is absolutely ridiculous. I'll keep this video short. The other ones usually run long, but this is yet another in the list. And all I can say is, I know there's plenty of them. There's plenty of them where I've seen them being banned, and when I go back to find out who they were, I can't seem to find out who they were. But there are plenty of other people that are victims of this, that are being attacked like this. And this thing, whether they have the right to or not, that does not matter. Because the thing is, I have the right to do all kinds of things to someone, and it's still awful. Like, it's still a bad thing. Like, just because I have the right to do something doesn't make it justified or a good thing or moral in any way. So this is awful, basically. And all I can do is just encourage you. Same thing as I said before. Alternative platforms. We got to do it. But yeah, this is long line. Leave comments in the description. Do other accounts that have faced the same thing, other people that have faced the same thing, because I know they're out there, and I know I haven't mentioned them all. So let me know about them, and let other people watching this video know about them. But yeah, sorry for the same video on more, like, the same type of video on the same type of topic, but I feel the need to, like, let people know about this, that it's not just a few people. It's not just Alex Jones. It's not just Scott Horton and Daniel McAdams. It's not just Robert Spencer. It's a bunch of people that this is happening to, and it's a bunch of companies doing this as well, and that is incredibly frustrating. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and thanks for watching.